So we continue in our reading of the 6th chapter of John. Yesterday before Mass, someone came in and said, "Father, I'm doing my homework. I've been reading it. So I hope you guys are all doing your homework, reading through the chapter. Take your time, chew on it." And we started, if you remember, with what I called human insufficiency. So what we saw last weekend in the readings was that on our own, humans don't have what we need. We had those two readings, the first reading in the Gospel last weekend, and we saw, the first reading is what we call a type. You've heard me say that before. Something in the Old Testament that it could be a person, a place, an event that foreshadows something in the New Testament. And so we had the man from Baal Shalisha come to Elijah with 20 barley loaves. Trouble was he had to feed 100 people with it, 100 men. And so on our own, we do not have what we need, right? And but when Elijah, the power of God, is involved, not only did they have enough, they had more than enough. They gathered leftover fragments. And so it reflects the gospel that we heard. Andrew, I like it in a way because it's so magnified. Instead of 100 men, they had over 5,000 people to feed. Instead of 20 loaves, they had 5, 2 fish. And Andrew, what good are these for so many? And he's right. On just human, what do we have? What good is what we have? But Jesus, when the power of God is involved, they too not only fed everyone, but they gathered in 12 wicker baskets full of fragments, And so human insufficiency. But we come to the readings today. Today what we see, and this is the biggest point I want to make, the answer to our inefficiency is not a what, it's a who. I like this from Archbishop Sheen. Begin with your own emptiness, what we did, and seek him who can fill it. Not seek what can fill it, right? And so today, we see the crowd here so intent on seeing Jesus, they not just look for him, they roll across the lake to find him. And yet he challenges them. You're not looking for me because you saw signs, because you saw divinity at work. You're looking for me because your bellies are full with food, And Jesus is clear that what they need is him, not this food. Do not work for food that perishes, right? And I have to be careful how I say this because I don't want you to misunderstand me. But Jesus says, I am the bread of life. Right? It wasn't Moses that gave your ancestors manna, it was God. And God, the Father, has sent me now. I am the bread of life. And this is before my flesh is real food or my blood is real drink. This is way before this is my body, this is my blood. Right? And again, I want to be careful. I'm not saying Jesus is not present in the Eucharist. He is. But we're not seeking what? We're not seeking the Eucharist. We're seeking Jesus. The Eucharist comes from Jesus. Right? We tend to think that Jesus comes from the Eucharist somehow. And I guess in a certain sense you could say that's true. But the Eucharist comes from Jesus. He gives us his flesh to eat. He gives us his blood to drink. Right? And he says, I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me shall not hunger. Whoever believes in me shall not thirst. And this is critical for us. This idea of believing in Jesus, believing in who he says he is, believing in what he is, the divine Son, Son of God. Because without this, any talk about the Eucharist is not going to make sense, really. And so this is the next step in our, we've got some weeks here. First is human insufficiency. The second, that what answers that insufficiency, what fills that, is a person, Jesus Christ. And Jesus exhorts us, seek him. And it's the thing I pray for most for you all, that you will come to know Jesus. You will come to greater knowledge of Jesus. You will come to union with Jesus. And so remember this from Archbishop Sheen, begin with your own emptiness and seek him who can fill it. If we get those two right, then the rest of what we say about the Eucharist in the next couple weeks will make more sense.